We're Batman at 89.
Hello, and welcome back to Batminute 89, the podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and you can make a good decision when you tries. Tim Burton's 1989 version of Batman, 1 minute at a time. I am one of your hosts, Niall McGowan.
And I am your other host, John Parker, who is using this as a front for his nefarious business dealings.
Ooh, like Tommy Wiseau. Or so the rumor goes.
That's my true identity. You've just revealed who I am.
Yes. Oh, hi, John.
Damn it! No, that accent's just something I do for the movies. You know, this is how I really sound.
Well, fantastic cover you've got going. Yeah. But anyway, today we are looking at minute 12. And minute 12 begins with Jack Napier and Lieutenant Max Eckhart having a very civil conversation. And it ends with us seeing the first sight of the lesser seen Gotham streets in daylight.
Oh, yeah. So
that's something to look forward to.
I'm looking forward to it, and I've already watched the minute. So.
But anyway, to get in here now, so we've kind of coming in mid-conversation. So Eckhart's been told by Napier that Harvey Dent is looking around one of their front companies. And he replies with, that's my problem. If there's a problem, I'll deal with it. Which, okay, to me, it seems like a bit of kind of flimsy writing in a way, because it's like, well, what's his territory? Like all front companies? Does he? And if not, then is it like he knows exactly? Napier's telling him this, and he's like, he knows which front company he's talking about. He's like, I know, but and he's just not he's not dealing with it. Which seems even it would suit the character of Eckhart. Seeing as he doesn't look like he's a particularly energetic cop. He's not good. No. He's not good at giving excuses to the press or to anyone else. And now he's just even as a corrupt cop who's supposed to be looking after these front companies, he's like, he just doesn't care.
It makes me wonder why Jack has sort of gone into business with him in particular, because he doesn't seem like he's the top of the force. He's not the best cop around, and Gotham seems like a pretty corrupt place. I'm sure there's other people he could have been working with.
Well, I think I'm not too sure if it's Jack himself who's really doing that. I think he's just the hand where and it would have been Grissom who would have established Eckhart. But maybe because they say one of his front companies, Grissom gave Eckhart the easiest one. It's it's like a chemical plant. Who cares about that? Just shove them out of the way. But
well, actually, they do touch on the Grissom thing. Jumping ahead slightly, we'll come back, but because there is a line where he does specifically say that he answers to Grissom.
Oh yeah, well, I think that's it's coming up within seconds. So I'm trying to think of this.
But actually. Yeah, well, it is, but before that, there's something I absolutely love with Eckhart here. Yeah, so when Napier says to him, that his problems are our problems, Eckhart has the greatest response of all time. He just sort of stands there with his mouth gaping for what felt like about 6 hours. It was the most absurd cartoon thing I've ever seen, but I loved it.
It does. It reminds me of another Eckhart mouth gaping scene, which is very prominent later. I'll remember to call back to this episode when that pops up. But I think that might just be his natural state. Not only is he a lazy cop, a corrupt cop, and a lazy corrupt cop, he can't even be bothered to close his mouth properly.
Maybe that's how he feeds, like a whale. He just kind of leaves it open and things fall into the gaping maw.
That could be, yeah. But
I'm being mean to him. I don't want to be mean to him. He's a legend.
Oh yeah, I mean, Eckhart is a fantastic character, But I think because we were just talking about this off mic, as they say in the biz.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we were noticing it's around this point in the first draft of the script. There's the slight difference of them Jack grabbing Eckhart, but the lapels of his top coat, and basically noting that it's very it's a bit too expensive for a cop. Basically, it's like a fine Italian coat he's got. He's got
wonder where he got that. How did he afford it?
Yeah. But even at that, then it's like we can see that there's obviously been some changes in the characterization of Eckhart down the line somewhere, because this ratty old trench coat he's wearing in the finished film, that does not look expensive at all. So
I think he should be wearing like a fur coat and shades and just swanning around like a diva. That is what I want to see for this character.
That could be like the most blatantly obvious corrupt cop.
Yeah, I want it in your face.
It's like doing someone handing him Napier coming along with the burlap sack with a dollar sign and just been like, "Oh, good, my laundry is ready."
Now, that's what I want to see. I want it just all obvious in your face. We just want to see Batman punching people. We don't need this plot stuff. What's all this?
Well, to be fair as well, that is the one thing that Eckhart does seem to make a bit of effort with, is when Napier is blatantly throwing his bribe at him, and he does the why don't you broadcast it?
Yeah, of all the people to worry about that, you think it'd be the other way round.
Like that's the one thing he steps up for. He's like, I'll cover that. I'll cover, make sure no one sees the bribe. But I think that we were also saying, because thinking, he's got him, in this original draft, he's got this fine Italian coat. Maybe Eckhart was a bit designed, originally to be a bit more like Flass in Batman Year One, like a really trim, good looking corrupt cop. And then in the script, it specifically describes him as a porcine cop.
That's just harsh.
I mean, so they were specifically going, and then they obviously, someone either thought, looking at that, oh, I know just the guy, or they saw a porcine and then they went, Porkins. So
of course, it's all so obvious. How could you not?
We may never know. Like, we'll have to corner Tim Burton and be like, did you cast him just because of the porcine thing in the script?
I mean, on a slightly more serious note, getting grim here. No, I like the way he said he calls Jack a psycho here. I just thought that was a nice, neat little touch, because it tells you a bit more about his character. Because, I mean, other than him being quite vain and full of himself, we don't know a lot about him. Like, we don't. Is he a psycho? I didn't know that before that line. Like, that's quite telling.
Yeah. And it's also, again, it's a little telling of Eckhart not being the best, because if you're dealing with a guy who is the muscle of the city's biggest gangster, and he's a psycho, why would you call him a psycho to his face?
Hey, maybe he really enjoys that. That might be what he's going for. That's his shtick. Oh yeah, I like this as well. Because Jack says to him, "Why, Eckhart? You ought to think about the future." Which I thought was a nice little nod to the Prince track earlier, or vice versa. The Prince track a nod to that line. I assume the Prince track actually came first. I don't know.
Well, I think it's in the first draft of the script. So
I've got that up here, but I'm not combing through it for that line. I'm lazy.
Yeah, it says, you're a smart boy, Eckhart. You should be thinking about the future. So
there you go. So Prince has read that bit and for some reason latched onto it. No, I think he was given a brief.
I think it'd be great though if there was a deleted scene of Eckhart going home and like putting Prince's The Future on, and just like reclining back and like rubbing his chin thoughtfully, like, oh, yes, it's very profound. Yes.
Unless Eckhart is Prince, that's the plot twist. He's in disguise.
Ooh, Lieutenant Eckhart, Prince in disguise.
We're on to him.
So many things. This could all also be featuring in that Eckhart Knox prequel show that we were going on about the other day. So
that's going to be the best show on TV by the time we're done.
To be like at the end of the pitch, they're like, well, we're not too sold on this, guys. It's like, get this. Turns out Eckhart is Prince. The recently deceased pop star Prince. Okay.
It all makes so much sense.
And then, well, I mean, like, you know, some of the things they're greenlighting on Gotham, they'll be like, sure, do whatever you want. And particularly now that, you know, Prince has passed, maybe it might be easier to get away with it, because you know he would have litigiously landed on them like a ton of bricks before that. But now it's like, it's free reign, free purple rain. There you go.
Well, they were going to bring out a new Prince EP, weren't they? But that got canned at the last minute by the estate.
So I wonder who the people of the Prince estate are.
Yeah.
Like, you can't imagine, like, they all like Prince. It's like his whole family all going around in like the ruffles and the curly bouffants, or like the incredibly tailored clothing, just, you know, literally walking away with this layers of velvet and satin all over them.
I'd leave that in my will. Like, I'd say, if you want to be the executor, is that the term, of my estate, then you have to wear a blouse at all times. Especially during legal proceedings or anything involving contracts or lawyers.
I wonder as well, like, I'm assuming he would have had to, like, in dealing with Prince when he was alive, during his, you know, the artist formerly known days, I'm assuming he had to sign that little symbol. Did he have, like, maybe he had, like, a stamp, like a custom-made stamp, so he could...
This is Prince. He definitely had a damn stamp. It was probably in his belt buckle or something. He just whip it out.
But at the same time, though, because the whole symbol thing was to get out of contracts. So maybe that's very much like, I will never sign anything ever again. Like, that's why I changed my name to a symbol. I can't even remember what the symbol looks like. I mean...
Well, something else I liked in this minute was because Eckhart responds to the previous line we mentioned about thinking about the future. He responds with, "You mean when you run the show?" Mm-hmm. And again, I quite liked that, because it was another little simple way to tell us another thing about Napier.
Yeah,
because he clearly is, well, and Eckhart knows it, is aspiring to be the top dog and kind of maybe overthrow Grissom or something.
Yeah, he is a man who obviously he thinks a lot of himself. So it stands to reason that, he would think that someday I'm going to be the big shot, basically. And then I love the follow-up to that then, though, particularly just because of Jack Nicholson's face. Because, and then, again, Hootkin's delivery of you ain't got no future, Jack.
Oh, and, that line.
And, he's just, you're an A1 nut boy, and Grissom knows it. But it's just like Nicholson's face. He has this little eye twitch of just like, that's the psychotic nature of it. It's flaring up.
Oh, yeah. That's confirming his nut status right there.
If you got an eye twitch when someone's talking to you, something is bursting, ready to burst forth inside. And then it does, obviously. Lashes out, grabs Eckhart by the face and shoves him back against the wall. So
yeah, that's a bit of a strange move. It kind of grabs him sort of round the mouth, doesn't it? Which is not the toughest move you could do to someone. It's a bit like kind of throwing a glass of water at them.
But
take that.
And it is an odd move. I guess, like, there's no reason he wouldn't just punch him or.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then Eckhart pulls out a gun in response, which seems slightly excessive. Whoa, English for stop a horse.
Yeah. This is where you would insert the anchor man. Well, that escalated quickly.
I mean, you'd think Jack would maybe pull the gun. Like, it seems strange. The cop, the first thing he does, well, it's America, I suppose. I mean,
oh yeah,
the cops are known for pulling guns.
Although, again, like with I have a weird defense of Eckhart in that everything we see about him, in that, he's really annoyed by Knox, as he should be. Knox is very annoying. He calls Jack Napier a psycho. He's right. He is a psycho. And then, like, he wants, and then later on, spoilers for the film, he's looking to bust him and has the whole shoot to kill because he's looking to kill him. So that's very much like he should kill him because when he doesn't die, he becomes something that's even worse than Jack Napier. So
he should have known that would happen. I mean, that's the logical escalation of all of this.
Maybe there's like Eckhart. Maybe he's like he's a seer. He can see into the future. He knows everything, and because he knows of his own doomed fate. That's why he's so worn down. He knows, like, oh, it's all I know how to stop these things, but I know I never will.
I don't know why, but as soon as you said he's a seer, all I could think of was the Matrix with the Oracle. So I'm now comparing them, and they're one character in my mind now forever.
I always think of was Cordelia in Angel. Because she had was a seer. That was what they called them as well, wasn't it? But
I was rewatching Angel recently, and they took it off English Netflix, so I'm upset.
Oh, English Netflix is falling apart, man.
Jeez.
Got rid of Community. That was one of the cornerstones of the whole thing. That was one of the reasons to keep Netflix, is because that was all there.
You Americans don't know what you got.
But and then returning to the minute, I guess this is another thing where we start. One of the first things we start slightly going off script from the first draft, which it's been virtually identical, and this is one of the it is getting a little bit different now.
Finally,
in that script, Jack very specifically pushes him into the doorway of a Cuban Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, I have a question about that. Is that a thing? Like, I know quite a lot about Cuba. I know quite a lot about China. In America, are the two somehow connected, or are they just being quirky for the sake of it?
No, because I thought upon reading it as well, like, that's very specific.
Yeah.
But I did look into it because I thought, like, is this some kind of weird fusion cuisine that I've not come across? And apparently, in America, there's Chinese Cubans. Are people Cuban people of Chinese origin, and they do have restaurants. Like,
okay. So maybe that's a great thing we're missing out on.
Yeah, that could be. Like, maybe we should be looking into Cuban Chinese foods to see like what we're missing. So.
Hell yeah! I bet London has it because London has everything. The rest of the country doesn't.
But and then was there something else I was gonna think around this moment? There was something I was supposed to tiptoe around. Oh yes, it's in one of the other differences is that, and I like this, and I thought this was a shame that they changed it. But like again, it harks back to what we were saying yesterday when I specified that like. Oh, in the first draft, Napier kind of waves to Eckhart, really drawing him attention to himself, and he's very dandy-ish and stuff in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, well, that's a bit more jokery. So you can see the stepping stone to him becoming that character. Whereas like this film goes from very much like, you hear he's a psycho, but it's all internal. And then when he changes, he completely flips. And then, the first draft here is Eckhart fumbles for his gun, and then Napier takes out his own and hands it to him and says, "Here, use mine."
That is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a real Joker move again. But and then there's when you actually watch the finished film we have, Eckhart pulls his gun. And I do like as well, it's one of those things you notice, from watching things 1 minute at a time over and over. Because there is a moment of, the cool and in control Jack Napier. When that gun is pulled, he does have a look of panic on his face. He has this moment of like, oh. Like,
oh, yeah. Eckhart, I get the impression he's never gone this far before with him.
It stands to reason, too, like, if he is a psycho. He did that, he pushed him impulsively out of a rage and didn't think the consequences through. So that's, it makes it ties into him being, flying off the handle and that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, yeah. And I love the response from the ever faithful Bob the Goon there, drawing his own weapon to defend his man.
Oh, yeah. this is the beginning of my love affair with Bob, because
He's romantic.
and it was we'll never leave his side.
He also looks remarkably like the comedian Bill Bailey, if you freeze frame there.
I'd never noticed that. But yeah, I've got a few things about now we've Bob's probably jumped into action. He's now a character in the film. But in looking into Bob, he's played by Tracy Walter, he's one of those, oh, it's that guy actors when you see him.
Everywhere.
And yeah, he has been in loads of stuff. Not as prolific as Bob, unfortunately. But
No.
he's in Silence of the Lambs. He's in Matilda Jr.
Oh, yes. I'm the only person in the world who loves Junior.
He's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia features in that. He's in Independence Day.
The good one.
Yeah, the good one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not Independence Day regurgitation. No. But and then Man on the Moon and Desperate Measures, which is the Michael Keaton as Hannibal Lecter thriller from the 90s, which is like,
yeah.
It was one of those things like when you were, when it was out and your parents got out of, like, they would have got it out on video, but it wasn't a good film. It was just because we were much more limited on what we had access to back in the day. So that's why things like Desperate Measures got watched. As literally a desperate measure, someone would put on that film.
It was appropriately titled, Ben. Although it's the grand reunion of Keaton and Bob the Goon. I don't want to use his real name. He's Bob the Goon.
Although, and then my favorite thing that he features in, he is in David Lynch and Mark Frost's other completely failed TV show, On the Air.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, it's got its charm, but it is not Twin Peaks. It's not even trying to be Twin Peaks, to be fair.
If anything, he's deliberately going the opposite way.
Yeah, because very, very, very silly. Very, like, proper 1920s slapstick, dad jokes, that level of silly. But, and Tracy Walter's character, though, is quite memorable because in a very, very Lynch moment kind of thing, there's a recurring joke of when you see him, he's sort of sitting, staring into space. And his character name is Blinky Watts. And a little white arrow will point to him. And a narrator who doesn't feature elsewhere in the episode, but the narrator will say, what's it he says? It's like, Blinky Watts is not blind. He suffers from Bozeman's simplex. Which so he sees the world differently from us. And then they go like, if you were to see the world through Blinky's eyes, it would look something like this. And then it'd just be a vision of like 5 Santa Claus dolls dancing around and like a shovel spiraling through the air and loads of really weird stuff. And then that's the joke. They'll do that once an episode, then move on. And like maybe Blinky will get a line, but that's it. That's Tracy Walter's part in On the Air. And
you're making me want to rewatch this. It's been a while, yeah.
Well, the thing I remember, like after like years ago, finishing Twin Peaks and then like I'm gonna check because it was then when YouTube was a thing, and you can get all of On the Air on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think David Lynch really cares if you're watching it on there.
I don't think he's gonna try to milk that that cash cow anymore. But
I don't know, maybe Mark Frost will make a book. Bridging seasons, and they'll release a new season.
But I remember like trying to watch it a couple of years back, and I'm like, oh, this is just awful. But then I got reminded of it last year, and I actually watched a couple of episodes, and it actually was way better because I think maybe I got older and I just appreciated the really crappy dad jokes in it.
Well, I love dad jokes. Yeah, I kind of. In a way, I should be a dad, just so I can do them and not feel like I'm just annoying people. Like,
yeah.
Well, I'll be annoying people, but not my friends.
But I mean, it's got great things. Like Miguel Ferrer he's on fire, and he's just ostensibly playing Albert, the Albert Rosenfield again, just an angry asshole coming in and barking orders at everybody. And then it's got they call him Ian Buchanan, who was Dick Tremaine, who's this really,
yes.
he's like a really sleazy variety show host. It's like,
I can't
this guy-
imagine him playing a part that isn't a bit sleazy.
He is incredibly sleazy. Just in
Even
general.
Dick is like, he's refined on the surface, but underneath he's a little bit slimy.
I think it's the oiliness of his hair. Just it makes you really think. Oh, because I remember he's in like the Larry Sanders Show, and he's even like really skeevy in that as well.
And here, Napier obviously knows that he and Bob would actually be more willing to pull the trigger, though, because then he goes to walk off, and he does the best laugh ever. I can't even replicate it. Give it a go.
I think it's like, yeah, it's a real.
No, that sounds too nerdy. I can't do it. That sounds like Beavis and Butthead.
But it is great. It's just the way he does it, and then he just sort of slinks off to the side, like, it's like to quote Knox from an upcoming minute. You're just like, what a dick. It's like.
He knows that nothing's going to happen to him. He's in control.
And it's just the fact, Bob has this very proud look on his face, too, of like, that's right. We got you.
That's my man. I'm not going to let this go. There's definite sexual tension between them.
Between Bob and Napier or Bob and Eckhart?
All of the above. No, Bob and Napier. they're a couple.
So we had to say goodbye to friggin' not like the Knox and Eckhart shippers from yesterday. We'll have to say goodbye to the Knox and friggin' Bob shippers today. Well, maybe not Knox, Eckhart and Bob. Sorry,
I knew who you meant.
Yeah, so it'll be like Bob Hart. It's like Eckob.
Oh God, I can't even go. No, I'm out of practice. I can't come up with names again.
But
I like as well when he's out of earshot. I like good old Eckhart / Porkins here going. Where have you been spending your nights? Because I assume he's suggesting that he knows about Jack and Alicia.
Yeah, that seems to be the implication. I used to like before. Yeah, once you think about it, of course that's what it is. But I used to kind of take it as like just a. He was going like, what a psycho. Like, where's he spending his nights? You know
what? I thought the same thing for years. It was just kind of like a way of him saying, "Whoa, what a crazy guy." What does he get up to?
But I will say though, because we're about because we're about to change, slip out of that scene.
Oh, finally, no more alleyways.
Yeah. Well, we'll don't you worry. There's plenty of alleyways left in the film. But I did want to bring up too this having William Hootkins and Jack Nicholson on screen together, because I always thought the name William Hootkins, it sounds a bit like a Joker alias. Like that seems,
yeah,
because it seems like in like the games and stuff, he's like Jack White or Mr. Joe Kerr and all that kind of stuff. But
original.
But William Hootkins is kind of like, oh, he's a hoot. It's like William Hootkins. And it seems
I
like
had not thought about that, but yes.
But yeah, it kind of suits them with my other like revelation. Like, I didn't just think of it for like this and analyzing the film one minute at a time. But for years, like I watched this film and I knew this film. And I never put together that Jack Napier is supposed to be a play on Jackanape. Like, that is supposed to be like a little, because he becomes the Joker, and it's a Jackanape, and Jack Napier.
Oh my God, I had no idea. You can see why I'm the stupid one out of the two.
Well, this was a thing. Like, I literally, about the first, didn't know this until I was about 22. And then I think I was just on an internet forum and someone mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh, of course!"
Yeah, it kind of makes a lot more sense now, because I did think when you're writing a character, you don't come up with the name Jack Napier. Like, that's a bit of a strange name.
Yeah, but like it's and a testament to them. It's way more subtle than like Edward Nigma or something.
Oh
like that.
Oh my God, no, that's my most hated one. Love the character, but that bloody name.
Well, I think the one defense like of that in the comics, and it's something I think they should have played about with, but they never have. As far as I know, maybe they have, and I've never come across it. But because I think at least in like the DC New Earth timeline, his name's actually Edward Nashton, and then
Much better.
Yeah, he's changed it to Edward Nygma. But I always thought that would have been like a good, like maybe when he starts off as the Riddler, he doesn't call himself the Riddler. He's Edward Nashton, and then he like as a villainous calling card, he's trying to establish the name like Edward Nygma or Mr. Enigma.
Enigma, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, I'm so clever. And then they go to like the newspapers and they're like, yeah, he's calling himself Mr. Edward Nygma or Mr. Enigma. I think it's supposed to be like Enigma. And then like
it's not snappy.
Yeah, they're just like, no one's gonna get it. Call him the Riddler. And then it's just like every time Batman refers to him as the Riddler, he's like, I'm not the Riddler, I'm Edward Nygma.
That would have been a fantastic storyline.
Oh, this could have been a recurring joke with the character, but no, like, I think like they've kind of gone back now to just like, no, he's always ccalled Edward Nygma. It's like no one has ever been called Nygma. That's not a name. But anyway, have you got any more for this part of the scene before we briefly cut now to the beginning of the next scene? So
no, nothing. I am very happy about the cut because we as I say, now out of the alleyways to a shot outside of a building. It turns out it's City Hall. That's not a spoiler. I don't care. I'll tell you. Come to me for these little inside tips.
It's just John Parker. He's crazy. He'll tell you.
I am pretty crazy. But I like it.
If you nut boy, John.
I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn.
Like anytime you go in for like an interview that doesn't go well, you just grab them by the face and throw them against the wall.
Well, if that doesn't get me the job, I don't know what else will. So that's all I know. I'm from the streets.
Like I'm happy to hang around in the background with a gun to come over your shoulder if needed. So
you have to change your name to Bob.
Oh,
yes, I like the if you pause here. I just thought that the craftsmanship in this shot was astonishing. It was wonderful. It looks a bit steampunk or something.
I thought like it does look great. I'm assuming this is like a matte painting within and then actual cars and stuff in front of it.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was a matte or models like that they'd put in there.
I'm assuming at least the top half is a painting.
Yeah.
And then maybe the bottom part is like it's been meshed together in some way.
Yeah, I thought the bottom part was definitely real. The top was really nice artwork though. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, look, it looks for like one of the few establishing shots we get of Gotham in the daytime. It does look it looks great. It really again it resells the whole city to you because it looks really dirty and grimy and oppressive and all the colors are faded. And it looks like an unpleasant place, basically.
But it also doesn't. It helps you to realize that this isn't somewhere we live. Like it looks, it's quirky. It's not a place in America that you would recognize.
It does have that sort of the Fritz Lang up Metropolis kind of thing going.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I thought even like there's kind of like weird pipes coming down from. I thought it looked a bit Geigery, like a bit like not quite biomechanical, but kind of like it was almost like the pipes were in like a tree trunk kind of. So I guess biomechanical in a way, but.
Oh, don't entice Fox though. They'll bring out a Batman versus Alien film somehow in collaboration with Warner Brothers.
Well, I know for sure there's definitely a Batman versus Predator comic because I used to have it back in the day.
That says it all. You used to have it.
And then there was, I'm assuming if that's happened, then there was a Batman versus Alien one. That seems like that.
Did you ever do that as a kid, though? As a kid, we'd always have arguments, like on the playground. It was like the stupidest things. You'd be like, well, who would win in a fight between Terminator and RoboCop? But you'd be like, oh, Terminator. Yeah, but then the alien comes around. It's like, what happens then? Who wins? And then Batman.
I do remember like the one that was most frequent was Schwarzenegger versus Bruce Lee. And I think that was Schwarzenegger back in his heyday. But like at the same time, it's like Bruce Lee.
Like, Bruce Lee every time.
Yeah, it's like Schwarzenegger. He's muscly. I don't think he knows how to throw a punch, really, though. Like Bruce
Not
Lee
like the master.
It's like he would kill him in seconds. Like there's no competition. But back when you're like 8, it's like, oh, cool, look at the muscles on him.
That's a great one. I like that one.
I do, like that one was frequent. I think that was like all other arguments had been settled, but that one raged on throughout the school year. So.
Well, and now on the air, we have settled it finally. After all these years, it's over.
It would be like getting a call in, next episode from some guy I went to school with. I'm telling you, Schwarzenegger can kill Bruce Lee.
Please do contact us if you dispute this. And get in touch, on Facebook. But with the minute, there is Batman going on. You see a happy birthday banner being raised over City Hall.
Yes.
And then we hear a voice. We don't see who it is yet, saying that he doesn't care how in debt the festival is. Which I thought was the festival for the birthday, or does he just sort of mean that the city as a whole is in debt? I don't know. But he wants a parade, damn it. Don't we all? I always want a parade every day parade.
That's in contrast to like it's kind of like combining the best of two worlds here now, because with that establishing shot that we had, like amongst all the weird giant things that are there for the sake of being there, like that don't seem to serve any function. You do see that statue, presumably again John T. Gotham.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, in the original draft of the script, there is no birthday. There's no anniversary parade. But there is the unveiling of the Lady of Gotham statue, which is a big thing. And we'll get into that later on in the film.
Oh, yeah. That's a not the biggest difference in the world, but an interesting one.
So it's just kind of like, it's just like, oh, there's the because the Lady of Gotham statue is mentioned frequently in conjunction with the John T. Gotham statue. And then it's like, well, here now you got the two things are on screen together, kind of, because you get there's the parade and there's the statue. So,
well, I like as well, as he says, he wants a parade. He also wants hot dogs and balloons. So they're really pushing the boat out there. No wonder the city's in debt. Hot dogs for everyone.
You know how much hot dogs and balloons cost? My God.
Well, is New York the home of hot dogs? They say, as a foreigner, that's what I always imagine. And it's not the cheapest place, is it? So who knows if it's based on that?
But but again, we'll get into the various ins and outs of
hot dogs.
This person's demands for this for the festival.
What goes into a hot dog? Let me know.
Could it be a bat?
Whoa.
No, that wasn't very good.
Well, for all I know, yes. A tasty, tasty bat.
But that's all I've got for this minute myself anyway, so...
Yeah, that's all my notes. I was mostly fixated on the hot dog, so I'm rather hungry. I'm going to have to, go and cook some.
So specifically hot dogs now. You're like, I'm going to have to go out, buy the sausages, do the whole thing.
Cook up some onions. Oh, jeez.
Although you do see in the beginning of, like, again, that the establishing shot, I think it's a shish kebab stall at the far left of the screen. So you think they'll be like, oh, I don't want rid of these kebabs. I don't want any of that happening. Gotta be hot dogs. It's gotta be balloons.
He doesn't want this foreign stuff. Even though, of course, hot dogs are kind of a German thing.
Anywho, so...
Yes, that's everything I've got. So, well, before we go, we did it yesterday, I think, but we'll do it again. Shout out to the DC Cinematic Minute. Mm-hmm. For obvious reasons, the connection between the two of us there. So go and check them out. And get in touch with us on Facebook at the Bat Minute 89 Listeners Society. Join in there. Or you can just like our page, which you can find on your own. I'm not going to tell you. Or Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. They're all at Bat Minute 89. Although I don't think you have to say the @ for Twitter now. So I sound like an old man. And something I neglect to mention every single episode is, of course, we will be on iTunes. So, leave a review. That would be helpful. That'll bump us up a little bit. And that's about it. So, yes, get in touch with us or else.
Parade planning predicament. As the bicentennial bash burns through city funds, the Borg attempts to assimilate the DA and PC into his plans for sausage-shaped sustenance. But are these ideas full of hot air? Find out right schmear. Same bat pod.
Different Bat Minute.